Hello, everybody. Welcome into the place to be for fantasy football. I'm Dennis Rodriguez, also known as Chef, and today we are going to touch base on week 4. I was live a little bit ago for any of you that are confused. I was going on the place to be leagues, doing a review, and lost audio because I suck at technology. So hopefully this audio is working now because I clicked a bunch of things and it seems to be working. I got green lights. I did a little video test, heard my own voice. It bothered the shit out of me because I sound like a terrible human being. But that said, hopefully it's working now. All right. We did put in a lot of effort to make sure it's working. Even brought in the most sophisticated cat in the planet, Oscar. Oscar, say hi to people. All right. He is our guru, helps me pick a winner each and every week. And so far, we've been very wrong. I should not rely on my lovely cat, who is pretty much my spiritual animal, to give me guidance in fantasy football. That said, my first pick of the week was the Green Bay Packers. They blew it. Detroit looks really good. They have an actual offense, they have an actual coach, and they have a team that's believing in what he's saying. Why would you want anything different than that? Divisional wins are huge. His after game speech was incredible. For any of you who didn't see it, it was awesome. He was dropping F bombs, but not as much as Jared Goff was in about 2 sentences, maybe 4 came out. And that's what you want from your coaches, from your leaders. You want them to be strong and fierce and competitive. That team just looks good. They fight. They were supposed to be missing David Montgomery and missing Cody Decker, and they still played. They ended up having their starting left tackle and starting running back, and you saw the difference in their game compared to the week before. They were able to impose their will. I watched David Montgomery's entire career here in Chicago. Dude is a beast. Believe in the man. He is an absolute beast. He is a 3 down, 4 if you want him, workhorse. The guy is going to put in everything to his blocks. He's going to make sure that every single person is doing their job, and he's going to fight for every yard and do it in his own way. So believe in the guy. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to only get better. That offense is only growing. And with the biggest news in the last video, St. Patrick did give us a gift, and Jameson Williams had his suspension reduced. So this is the last week that he will be suspended, which means he comes back for week 5. I did not catch if he is able to return to practice as of now because it looked like they had lifted the ban or the suspension rather. So if he may be back at practice, I will do some investigating. But it seems like right now he's probably still out of practice up until the end of the game, and then we'll join them for next week. Keep your expectations low, but also keep them real. He could just be one pass away from being a solid flex guy. That is, oh, hey, Oscar. Apparently, Oscar likes my pen. If you didn't, guys, there's Oscar. He's he's my dog, man. He's my cat dog. I promise you. Such a sweet, sweet boy. Gives great therapy. So, but where were we? Where were we, Oscar? Oh yeah, we were touching base on the Lions still. So I'm thinking Jameson Williams. If you need him for week 5, sure, give him a shot. Like I know it's ahead of schedule, but you can probably put the dude in a flex. Like how Christian Watson just ended up with a touchdown over this past game. It might just be one of those. Just throw him in there and just kind of hope that he just does like a one catch touchdown, 60-yard kind of deal for you. But believe in the guy. He's coming. He is coming, and they need some speed. Like I was telling you guys in the last video, goodbye, Khalif Raymond. Goodbye, Reynolds Brothers. We appreciate your commitment and what you did for us for 1 week, 2 weeks for gosh, but get out of here. There's a bigger, badder cat coming in, and we need him. The next game I got on the spread here is I got the Vikings and Panthers. I'm calling a JJ day. It just seems like I don't know what the Panthers are going to try and actually do to stop him from catching probably 13 balls and going for 150. Just doesn't seem like they're going to be able to stop him. I understand that defense is good, but they've had a lot of injuries lately. And also, it seems like Bryce Young is going to be playing. Now, do I believe in the kid and love the kid? Sure, yeah. Human being, seems like a great dude. Seems like he could be an NFL quarterback. He is not a fantasy quarterback right now. He is not doing anything for us on our rosters. He really isn't. But you got to hold him. The value but that offense just doesn't seem. It looked really good last week under Andy Dalton, sadly, but he is a more vetted pro. I think that this week they're just not going to be able to keep up with the Vikings. They will get their first win. And as a Bears fan, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Panthers lose as much as you can. Start Bryce Young every single game. I hope he doesn't win a game this year. And then next year, let him win as many as he wants. But we just want that early draft pick. Ow. Hey, take it easy, bud. Let's see. What do we got next? Ravens and Browns. We all know how this goes. It's a divisional matchup. They always are tough games to win. It's very, very difficult to pull out a win in these Ravens-Browns games. They're infamous for that. Most of the time, it's Steelers and Browns as well too. Like, it's just these AFC matchups in that division. But I'm gonna go with the Browns. Their defense is amazing. They are number one. It looks like in most categories, if not all of them. Ironically, the Ravens are pretty much number two in a lot of them as well. So it's going to be a defensive game, grind it out. Do we think Lamar will still have his value? Yeah, he's going to have it in rushing. I also think that value becomes true with Deshaun Watson. That rushing is also something that you're going to want to keep. I do feel like it's probably less likely that it's going to be like a clean game from either of them. I'm thinking they might both have one rushing touchdown, one passing touchdown, and a pick each. So maybe we'll call the two with the triple ones, one for each category, just to boost them up and make them feel good about what they're doing. But yeah, truly, it feels like a low-scoring game. I'll say 17-14, and I'm going to pick the Browns. Got the Falcons coming into Jacksonville. Jacksonville, they just look like a mess right now. It's a, I don't know what you'd call it, like a happy mess. Like there is some good things in that, but at the same time, it's just not what they really need to be doing. The team just doesn't look great. The Falcons have been playing awesome for having such bad like quarterback play with Ritter lately. I mean, they've been playing awesome. They've been keeping themselves in games. They're doing their best to at least try and compete. And you see this Finnegan's here, and he's just upset that the Squirrels are playing outside without him. We had some visitors today. We set up a new office. As you can see, got some beautiful Chicago gear behind us. And I don't know if any of you are alive back then, but this is the oldest picture of Wrigley that I even got. And it's awesome. Didn't even know that you can put drugs next to a facility, but there's 3 massive Coke things next to there, and we all know what's in that drink. But yeah, so getting back to the Jaguars and Falcons, I am picking the Jaguars. I do think the Falcons is going to give them a good run for their money. I am playing Bijan all day, every day. It feels like he's just getting better and better and better. I keep starting Algier on a lot of my teams because he is the only running back on those teams that I have to really kind of fill in the spots that I lost from Nick Chubb. And Algier is just not doing it. He's not getting that rushing touchdown that I expected. He's not getting really he's just not putting up any value for us. So just play Bijan. Don't even mess around with it. Bench Algier. I'm not interested really in any of the wide receivers for Atlanta still. I still don't trust Drake London. I know he did get that touchdown catch, but I'm still not trusting him. He's not getting the volume that we want. Nor is Kyle Pitts. Mac Hollins is being a part of that offense better than we expected. Can I play both Tank and Nico Collins? So, cracking my butt. What's up, fam? Appreciate you checking in, man. Love, much love. Thank you for also telling me my audio bopped out. Never would have known that. Would have kept talking like a jackass. So we'll flip script real quick. I'll drop to the Steelers-Texans game for you, bud. So I am calling the Texans to win this game. It doesn't make sense to anybody else because Pittsburgh's defense has been outrageously stellar. I do think that it's going to be another game where Pittsburgh is probably going to dominate, but I'm just going to give it to Stroud and the Texans anyways. It feels like they're going to have to air it out. I don't think they're going to care how many times that he gets pressured. He's been pretty good under the blitz, Stroud has rather, that I feel like he's going to be able to get the ball out. I would say PPR, I'm going to for sure put out Tank Dell. It seems like he's going to be the guy that they're going to be motioning a lot and trying to navigate in and out of all the traffic through the middle of the field. Nico Collins might have a tougher go, but if you're looking for like maybe that like 3-catch touchdown kind of game, but maybe 7 targets, feels like that's probably what he's leaning towards. But since I said it's going to be an air and out game, if those are your guys, go for it, man. Just start them. I mean, they've been balling. There's no reason to try and bench him now. And just like, especially Nico Collins had 2 good weeks. I think last week was the only one that was really kind of down for him, but that was just Tank Dell going off. And if they just focus on him a little bit more, that's all right, you know? Oh, then yeah, run that out. Because if you have Stroud on that too, I mean, you're just giving yourself 2 opportunities to kind of hit on that. Excuse me. To hit on having the 2 paired up. I mean, you might as well just run the triple option out there. It's worth it. I don't think that I'm investing much into the Pittsburgh offense. I do think Kenny Pickett is going to have a good game, but it's not going to be the fantasy game that we want. Kind of those Purdy numbers, like around 16, 17 points, it feels like, maybe 2 touchdowns. Pickens, Freiermuth, it feels like probably one of them, well, both of them will get 1 touchdown each. And maybe today we can finally believe that Najee Harris is actually going to do something for us this year. I wish I could confess to all of you how much it hurts me to have traded for Najee everywhere. Got him so cheap even because people didn't believe in him last year. I was like, yes, thank you. I'll take him. Give me. Hungry. He is killing me right now. Killing me. And it's brutal. Some of my rosters are Najee Harris and Dameon Pierce. How in the hell am I going to get beyond those 2 dudes? But if there's a week, Houston's not really good against the run. So this is his opportunity to kind of put it together. And if he really doesn't, you might want to start looking elsewhere. If he's really the only guy that you got, just hold and hope. Because next year, I think, is the contract year. And we all know how that kind of goes. They always pick it up next year or even sell on the premise. Now, Dolphins and Bills, another divisional matchup. I was going to say it would be a low-scoring game just because most division games are. However, Buffalo would be the reason why it would be a low-scoring game. They've only given up 35 points against them this year. So that's really, really good. Miami's given up 71. Now, has Miami put up like 111 points? Yeah, they have. 70 was in 1 game, which is insane. But they've scored over 100 points in 3 games total, which is insane to do. And that was with Jalen Waddle out last week. So, of course, these dudes are going to score points. However, it is in Buffalo. It is a hard place to play. There is rain expected for the game, which doesn't help anything. I don't know how much of you have been paying attention, but New York is literally underwater. New Jersey, no, Long Island. It's a massive state of emergency. They all got dumped on by immense amounts of rain. So if you know anybody in those areas, make sure you're reaching out to them, check on them. You know, we love you all. We want to make sure you guys are all safe and okay. Just hope everyone is doing okay. You know, climate change is getting us all, but we just got to keep supporting each other. I don't want to digress too far from the topic, but seriously though, I hope everyone is safe and okay. And don't be the ballsy ones, man. Like, don't be the ballsy ones. It's like, I got to get to work so fucking bad, man. I'm going to drive through 6 feet of water. It's not fucking worth it. It's not. If your job's making you do all that, they're not worth it. You guys have more worth. Find it. I know it's all a struggle right now for money, but hey, you guys deserve better than having to go out and try to drive your car through 6 feet of water and walk through that shit. No. If it was a relationship, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't put up with that if they were like, so don't do it now for them. But I do think that there's gonna be some score. I'm just gonna give a touchdown to probably Diggs. He'll probably get one, and then I'm just gonna stick with Tyreek. You can't bench Tyreek. The guy is just unbelievable. But the rest of it, yeah, I'm giving it to the Dolphins. I do think that they're gonna pull it off because they're just that offense is really good and hard to stop. Also, I just like the fact that we stole Buffalo's linebackers, which is nice. But yeah, I'm going to give it to the Dolphins. I do think it'll be like a 28-21. So we had Wyatt asking, does it feel like the Browns run the division? So it kind of does. Like they have been pretty much taking care of business in a weird way. They're winning ugly right now. And I feel like the best teams kind of find a way to win ugly. So I would say that it does feel like they're in charge of it. Deshaun Watson, I mean, I got crapped on for the last 2 weeks because I kept saying that there's a little bit that you can see. And I do think that in that Pittsburgh game, um, he had that breakdown that we kept seeing him pull those people down by their face mask. It seemed like that was what he needed. Like he had been just too complacent, too stuck. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, buddy. You want to say hi? Come up and say hi. Say hi. Come say hi. All right, everybody. I'm sorry. Just want to introduce you to Finnegan real quick. Finnegan, for all of you who do not have or do not know much of, Finnegan is our puppy, and he is being trained to be a service dog to my wife. Um, with it being near the end of Mental Health Illness Month, I do want to let you all know, like, hey, if you need a service animal, there's support you need. There's nothing wrong. We all deserve a little bit of help, and this is the biggest love of my life, even though he is for my wife. But I just want to let you know, if you need it, you deserve it. That's what the bottom line is. You guys definitely deserve the support, and sometimes it comes in these furry friends. So I just wanted to let you guys meet him real quick. All right, buddy. Let's get down. Get down. Get down. Listen. All right. Good boy. Daddy will take you out in a minute. We're gonna update everybody on some ball games. All right. I got you though. I love you, buddy. So I do. Right back to what I was saying, Wyatt, for you, buddy. I do agree with you. It seems like they are running the division, and I just have seen enough out of Deshaun Watson now that it feels like it's not like he's going to be that dude who left out of college, was just telling everybody, you can't touch me, pulling some MJ kind of numbers and just crushing it. Um, it looks like he's more of that mature, aged kind of veteran now. And he's just making more smart plays, like getting the first downs, not trying to turn the ball over. It just seems more consistent play than I was expecting. I definitely was expecting more hero ball out of him. But maybe it's Stefanski. Maybe it's the coaching there that's kind of really just settled him down and made him realize that he's got to just be there as the guy to help them win instead of the guy that's going to do everything to make them win. Just play normal ball, don't turn it over. And with that defense, I mean, Myles Garrett's beating people with just a shoulder. How do you I don't understand. Yes, I'm not a lineman. Never play. Well, I did play a line. I don't want to lie. At all 5'6" of me, it was the dumbest decision ever, but also the funnest. Our team was terrible in high school, and the only thing that got to hit anybody was the offensive line. So I decided to play that at all 5'6" of me. It was stupid, but amazing. But Myles Garrett is just arm rip right by sacks, fumbles. I mean, the guy's just putting his arm up. Can we figure out some way to block the man? I guess not. Worth the draft pick. The first year he wasn't, but now it's every year since the guy he's just crushing people. So I want that dude on my team. That defense is real. It is real. So to your point, they definitely could be an AFC contender this year. They may be one of the only teams that can slow down the Miami Dolphins. And we'll see again because the Dolphins last year, they were really good for the first half of the year, and then it just felt like people were figuring them out. I obviously don't think that they're running any of this. Well, they're running some of the same scheme, but it's different enough that those teams aren't able to pull the same moves that they were doing last time. So if McDaniels can keep it up, awesome. Awesome. Thank you for having Tyreek on my team. That's what I'll say on that one. We got Broncos versus Bills. I'm sorry, Broncos versus Bears. Hey, rain fog. As a Bears fan, I can say I genuinely hope that we win. Not. We just want to lose in a competitive way. Look, Sean Payton's a good coach. That team is going to be pissed that they just got destroyed. That is the second, I believe it's the second largest loss in NFL history. They're going to come out with fire in their asses. I would like to think that us as a Bears team would have some fire on our asses too, but we just don't. We just don't. That team just doesn't seem like they have the motivation, the drive. All the injuries we had in the offseason put us all behind. We're still dealing with Nate Davis, who went from injury to personal reasons. We lost our defensive coordinator. Eberflus is there now. I mean, for a team that all offseason, mind you, we got kudos for how we drafted, the moves we made pre-draft. Just everything was all like the Bears are doing the right thing. Nobody had anything bad to say all offseason about the Bears. And we have more drama in 3 weeks than we would have ever expected. This team just seemed like it was going to be like, hey, are they going to take a step forward? Like what that step forward was, it could be anything. But that was most contingent upon how the defense was going to play with all the new talent that we added, with our new defensive coordinator and how everything was put into place. And Justin Fields being the biggest reason why we would get any growth, because the offense has been terrible for years. 20 years. We're bad at football when it comes to the offensive side. We really are. The only thing that we are good at in Chicago when it comes to the offense is having a dude in the backfield who is a beast and just keeps running it. And we still have that. Even now with Herbert still not really being as effective, he is very good. He's very good. And this might be the game where he gets some runs. I did know that Travis Homer, I believe, is injured, so he's probably not going to play. So Dante Foreman will be on the roster. If you have a Bears running back that you are relying on this week, don't. It's really much of a confusing thing right now, and I don't know who you'd really want to trust, because it doesn't seem like you're going to get what you really need out of any of them. But I would definitely trust pretty much every Bronco. I am starting Javonte Williams because our run defense is terrible. I'm starting Marvin Mims even just because there's 99% chance that it feels like he's going to get a deep ball that's going to just go right by Eddie Jackson. And I mean, Stevenson might not even be playing. So it just looks like they're just going to get beat by all the wide receivers. Sutton's probably going to get you at least 10 balls. He feels like he's going to be the reception guy today. So if you're playing, Sunday. So if you've got a PPR league, I'm definitely putting Sutton out there. And Judy and Mims are just going to fight for that deep ball. So they might both get a touchdown. Shit, Bears might lose by 70. So the Denver Broncos might just drop a 70 burger on us after getting shit on. And I wouldn't even be fazed. I would have assumed that it was going to be more, to be honest with you, especially with how Marvin Mims is on special teams. Man, dude is dirty. And we are bad at all three phases of football. So yeah, start your Broncos. Start your Broncos. Don't believe in the Bears. Now, Justin Fields is worth a start because he's probably going to run for his life this week. It feels like eventually he's going to be running not as much for his life, but running more for positive gains and wins rather than just out of fear. But if you have nobody else at QB, just go ahead and start him. It's worth it. And hopefully it gets to a garbage time point where he's just putting it up. Ooh. So we got a good trade offer here in the chat. And Wyatt S says, what do you think about Judy for Tank Dell in a second? So I do like Jerry Judy. He is very, very good. If you are selling Judy for Tank in a second, that I like, because it feels with Sutton coming on, Judy still kind of having these issues with his hamstring between last year and this year. And then the way that Marvin Mims has been coming on, he is earning targets. And he's earning it. There's no doubt about it. You see how he moves with that football. I mean, he's good. I would definitely want Tank Dell and the second, because the way that these classes have been going, you're getting quality dudes in the second. And with this last class, we saw how pertinent it was to get those running backs in the second round. So you're getting Tank Dell in the second for trading Judy? Deal. Do that 100 times over 100. Yeah. Yeah. Good shit, bud. Good shit. Pound it. Yeah. I mean, that's so smart because that offense, you don't even know. Plus, Greg Dolchis is, he's going to be coming back from his IR stint after this week. So, what role is he going to play? Because you see how they're trying to force Troutman the ball, but it's just not the same kind of talent that Dolchich is. So when he comes back, Russ has been playing good. I mean, he doesn't look as bad as last year. Is he Russ from Danger Russ? No. But that's okay. He can be the softcore poor version of himself and just be like, hey, I'm just gonna get the ball to a few dudes, make a few throws, or mostly just rely on like screens and see what they can do. So I'm even starting, like I was mentioning just before you brought that up. I'm starting Devontae Williams this week because I do believe that this is the week that he starts to get back on track. I was looking into the snap count with him and Piron. I thought Piron was actually being more relevant, but he's really not. Devontae is getting most of the snaps, 50, 60% of the snaps. He's just not being effective. But if you're going to be effective, it'll be against the Bears. So good shit, bud. Good trade. Proud of you, man. That's awesome. It's going to come up good for you. Tank Dell is great. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Rams and Colts. So that's a good game that I'm really looking forward to. I love how Anthony Richardson has started his career. I made a lot of moves this year to get Anthony Richardson, even letting go of Lamar Jackson just so I can get the 102 to get A-Rich because I felt like I wanted to take that re-roll and start with the new guy who's got the same size, well, more size, same speed, and about the same arm talent, just less experience. So it seems like he's trending to play. I I have a question just in general, outside of us being people. Why do we need him to rush back out there to play? I get it, reps count. But when you look at him, look at Bryce Young, like these guys that have injuries, first and foremost, a concussion is not good ever. From someone who's had 3 of them and super bad ones, they affect you. They do. And I'm still young enough that it's not going to take hold, I hope, in the future, but I have to be aware, just like all of these guys do. We saw what happened last year with Tua. For God's sakes, don't we fucking care about people? He had a concussion. Give him 1 more week. What does it matter? Gardner Minshew played well enough and has proven that he's well enough. And you guys are using a scheme that is mostly based on what you do with running the ball. You can't give a rookie 1 more week off when the dude already took major shots in the first 2 weeks of his NFL career. Give him 1 more week. Just rest him. Let Minshew come out there and just tear it up again. Michael Pittman is the deal. He's real, man. He is absolutely real. I mean, believe in him. The guy's in a contract year and he's balling out. And it doesn't matter how deep those balls are. He's catching everything. He's converting, and that's what you want. You want those receptions. Why do we buy DeAndre Hopkins? It's the same thing. Oh, so he's not playing. So A-Rich is sitting out. Wyatt's keeping me looped in. So if he's not playing, that's awesome. What do you think's going to happen with Jonathan Taylor? So, okay. So I do think Jonathan Taylor is a buy. Oh, he is? Oh, so okay. So Wyatt corrected me. So it looks like A-Rich is playing. So yeah, I mean, so let's backtrack and touch on that real quick. I do think you have to start Anthony Richardson because they are still going to give him the ball. Oh yeah, I got you, fam. Okay. You do got to give Anthony Richardson the ball still. He's so good that I mean you got to at least like play him, start him, and hope that he's going to do okay, and hope that he makes it through the game. Okay. And the whole Bryson thing, it bothers me too because it's his ankle, and ankle injuries, as we see, are like long lasting. As to Wyatt's point with Jonathan Taylor, as to how he had that ankle surgery last year and how he's still kind of recovering from it this year, as to why it feels like they put him originally on PUP with all the speculation. But Bryce Young, ankle injury, Eckler, ankle injury, like they take a while. Just let the dude sit out. Okay. Now, I do think Jonathan Taylor is an absolute buy. He's a stud. The dude crushed it in college. He put up video game numbers. He is doing video game numbers in the NFL. Yeah, I get it. Last year was rough, but Do you think he would have been good, like, having any of the Bears quarterbacks on his team? No. I mean, well, okay, back that up. Justin Fields did kind of step it up a little bit at the end there. But yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor is just he's a rare talent. The dude's a rare talent. I as the someone who's been competitive in my life, I can tell you if you are someone who is really competitive, and I imagine most of those dudes in the NFL are, because you can't really take hits like that and just be like, oh, it's okay. I'm a passive guy. I don't really mind that you crush the shit out of me. It's okay. That dude, if he's fighting for money, don't you think he's going to fight for that team? I mean, most people have said he's a really good guy overall, and they like that he's their teammate. They believe in him. If you come back from PUP, you're going to tell me your team is winning. You're watching your young quarterback become a stud in just this 2 games, right? There's no way you're not going to come back and just be there for your team. Oh, dope! That's awesome. Wyatt met JT. That's really cool. Yeah. Hey, so can you tell me then? Am I right? Is everyone giving him props? Is he actually a good dude? Because that would be cool to know. Because it seems like it. He seems like a pretty humble dude, and he just kind of feels like maybe this is something. Some people come from different backgrounds, so maybe money is really okay. You don't know him as a person much. That's okay. Well, as long as he wasn't rude, he gets a thumbs up right now. Okay. If he was, whoa, 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 JT, come on. We got some good people around here. You got to respect our family. All right. Hey, yeah. But yeah, just to touch back though, I mean, it just feels like if you are a true competitor, why would you not want to go back to your team and just fight? And they're in it right now. They're in it, and it's like, who'd have thought that? But they are, and they're playing well, and they have talent, and it's only going to get more talented. I mean, look what Zach Moss is doing. They're feeding him the ball damn near 30 times a game just to get to 100 yards. You don't have to do that with Jonathan Taylor. You can give him 4 carries, and he's explosive enough that he could turn that into 100 yards. So it's unlikely, in my opinion, that they trade him, because even though they lowered the price from a first to a second, and it's funny how these teams say early picks like we do still with fantasy, like, oh, it's an early second. How do you know that? I don't know that. I have teams that need 4 and 5 firsts because I just still don't trust that I'm going to get anywhere close to the 101 or 102 next year, which we all are competing for, right? So a second round pick, I mean, that's expensive. In hindsight, the Bears gave up what turned into a first round pick for Chase Claypool, and look at all the guys that went in this year's second round. Uh, it's insane. It's insane. Now, Will Levis is the one guy who I'm just kind of like, why? Why did he get drafted in the second round? He definitely could have waited. I don't think anyone was in a rush to get him, but that's different gripes, different day. But yeah, it's an expensive price tag for him, and then when you do trade for him, you do have to pay him. So I just feel like if you're going to be that team, I mean, they got rid of Deion Jackson. Okay, that should be at least a sign to us that they're trying to make some kind of move in that regard. And lo and behold, who goes and grabs him? Nobody but Cleveland. They're just the only ones that are grabbing every single running back and being smart about it. They're doing good, but it just feels like they're making moves to allow him to get back into the game. I didn't. So Wyatt's bringing up a good point. He's saying that he believes JT said he would take a pay cut if he went to a contender. I didn't hear that, but if that he did say that, that's awesome. Um, but what's a pay cut? Like, I don't think he's doing like a Kelsey deal, like pay me nothing. Not also unless JT has some billionaire wife that he's about to try and get as a girlfriend. Then hey, by all means, buddy, take every pay cut. With that said, is Travis Kelsey not the smartest person on the planet? You take all these pay cuts and end up with a billionaire. She comes to the game and your jersey sales go up like 400%. Genius. Genius. All right. Tangent. But yeah, I find it hard that anyone's going to really trade for JT. There's going to be offers. I will say if anyone in the NFL is smart, Baltimore, pick up the fucking phone now. Call Indianapolis. Just give them whatever the hell they want. You guys, if you have Jonathan Taylor on that Baltimore team, my God, how do you stop them? Because we saw what they can do with Dobbins and Edwards. I mean, you got random dudes out there. They're giving stupid nicknames too because they have nothing else to do with them. They're like, hey, go play 5 snaps. We'll give you a cool nickname. I mean, Jonathan Taylor destroyed there. Again, I still think he's going to stay though. I do. I do think he's going to stay. I just think that it would be stupid as an organization to have that young talented quarterback and then just decide to let that running back go who can literally carry your franchise. Wyatt points out that Jonathan Taylor wouldn't play a snap with the injury history of the Ravens. And that is so true, buddy. That is so true. I hate that backfield. I refuse to draft running backs from that backfield every year. There's certain ones. I was avoiding LA with the Rams. I've been avoiding, Seattle. It's just like those three places in particular always have injuries. Now, hey, I have a lot of Kenneth Walker shares, so fingers crossed that he stays healthy. But that said, yeah, it's just there's certain places, man, it's just injuries spread. Now, bring those people to Philadelphia, and it feels like they just become better and healthy. There's oh hey buddy, good boy, yeah. It just feels like there's something to. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. It feels like there's something in that Philly water that's just making him healthy, and we see it with DeAndre Swift. His whole career has been hurt, but then they just go rush him out there like 2 games in a row for 30 carries apiece, and he puts up over 100. Like, what? AJ Brown injured his whole career, goes to Philadelphia, suddenly healthy. I mean, and Wyatt points out it could be the training as well. I mean, how many people pointed out? So what was it during the offseason? Rashad Bateman was calling out not only the GM but also the athletic trainers, saying that they have. Oh, thank you, sweetie, thank you. They have a lot of issues with the injuries, and I don't doubt that. I can see it, because you can see it year after year. Like these guys are having all these problems. Buddy, I love you to death. Give me 1 second, okay? We're about to finish up here, and then I'll take you potties. We'll go for a big walk, okay? We'll go to the park. We'll have a good day today, all right? So yeah, it could be the athletic trainers. Maybe they did something better. To be honest, maybe that all started from their Super Bowl runs when they lost Carson Wentz and they kept having to go through all those issues. Maybe they were like, hey, we need to do something better. We need to have somebody who's keeping our players healthier. And it seems like since then, honestly, they haven't really had a lot of big injury issues. Some on defense, but not as much on offense, which is good. I mean, Goddard last year, but that's fluky. And he's kind of on those last bones too. But if you watch how these other dudes are playing within Zach Ertz and Tyler Higbee, I mean, it feels like these guys are almost getting better as they run slower. I don't know how that works, but yeah, it's interesting. Let's talk about that game since we're on it. It's going to be the Commanders at on the road against the Eagles. Wow, Sam Howell looked terrible. I mean, he looked really bad last week. Unless you're trying to throw the ball to their team, you did a great job with that. But I've been believing in him for a while. I was picking him up on waivers last year right after the drafts, and he's got talent, not just within himself and around him. And it feels like the enemy is doing a good enough job on scheming them to kind of move the ball around, using B-Rob a lot. But we want to make sure that we don't get too ahead of our skis because still this year he is really a rookie. I think he only started the last game of the year last year, and I think he got some other snaps in different games, but he's still just learning on the fly. Now he's going to make tons of mistakes, get turnover prone. It's just bound to happen. Wyatt points out that he stares on his receivers, which I haven't caught too many of the games with him yet. But if he's doing that, that's that young rookie thing. Just trying to kind of snap the ball. You maybe didn't even figure out what the defense is yet as the pre-snap. So you're just looking at the guy that you want to get the ball to and hoping that you can get it out real quick before he gets smacked. So he does have some good guys around him, though. I mean, Logan Thomas, just another one of those old dudes who still keeps going. It's like the putt-putt car that doesn't die. But yeah, he's got Cole Turner. He's got Scary Terry. He's got some talent around him. So it looks like he's still going to probably be able to do it. It's just the one person that hurts the most is Jahan Dotson. And they do, I mean, the guy was good at touchdowns. He was just in the red zone, your touchdown guy. What happened? What happened? I had such huge expectations for Jahan Dotson. And it feels like not many people are talking about the fact that he's just fallen off the fucking planet. Um, Granted, he was a touchdown based dude, but, we've seen that before. Guys that are just getting those TDs, but not doing those long breakaway plays for 70, 80 yards. And he was good at it. So why is he not getting used enough or more than enough in the red zone? You can find that answer. Send it to me. Actually, don't. Just send it to BN. Be like, hey, Dotson. Dot, dot, dot. So I am picking the Eagles, though. It just feels like they are too good. I don't I don't know how many of you have been watching Jalen Carter. I know that we traded with the Eagles as a Bears fan to move back a single pick. I think we got a 5th-round pick for moving back to give up Jalen Carter. Yeah. Oh. Wyatt, I ain't gonna pass the blame on you, fam. I ain't gonna blame you for drafting Dotson and cursing him, buddy. I ain't gonna do that to you. We'll say you're the reason he gets inspired. All right. You're gonna bring the motivation out of him. Uh, yeah, it just feels like the Eagles are going to have a really good game. Again, division rival, so it could be close, but the way the Eagles have been playing, I feel like Jalen Carter is just going to run through that offense. He's going to stop the run. Most of the run in like the runs that I see B. Robin successful at, I just feel that Jalen Carter is going to stuff him with the line. Now, I've been asking for 2 weeks now, and had everybody tell me that I cannot get shit for Antonio Gibson. Maybe a sandwich on the floor, most people just said just hold him because there's nothing. This might be his last year there because he's pretty much on a contract year, and I don't think they're going to re-sign him, especially the way that Brian Robinson's playing. They also have that backup in Chris Rodriguez, who's pretty much the other version of Brian Robinson. And then next year is going to be littered with a bunch of dudes that are kind of meddling guys. So we have right now the college landscape for running back is dog shit for next year's class. It really is terrible. So we will have a lot of dudes fall into the second round like we did this year, with Charbonnet, with Miller, all these guys who are now starting to slowly make their way. I mean, even H was falling in the second round, and you're getting him, and now he drops a 50 burger his first game, So, but it feels like the Eagles are just going to hit AJ Brown, probably about 15 times. Devontae Smith's going to have a big game, and I'm going to give it to Antonio Gibson this game. I think that this is the time because it feels like they're going to stuff him. They're going to stuff B-Rob so bad that they're going to be doing more swing passes. I do know Brian Robinson is a good receiver. He's been showing that, but his speed isn't there. And against the Eagles, it really feels like you need to have some of that. It just feels like their defense is so damn fast, so talented. I don't know really how you beat them, to be honest, but I'm going to give them the win, 100% Eagles. I don't believe that the Commanders are going to come anywhere close in this game. Bucks Saints, another division rival. Who is not looking forward to Lattimore versus Evans? Like, pay-per-view fight, you know what's happening. Like, what's the over-under? Ejection in the second? Do they make it past halftime and get ejected in the third? Or is it like they come to blows in the last 2 minutes of the game and then just call out and then they get suspended the next game because they waited too long? It's going to be a fight. Now, Mike Evans has been really good, crushing it these first 3 games. I would make a suggestion, though, if that is somebody you're relying on, maybe not this week. Lattimore is always like that guy that seems to knock him down. He just never does well against him. Is he motivated? Is Evans motivated? Of course. And it feels like if Evans is going to beat Lattimore, it might be this game in particular, because I don't recall Evans ever really making statements that he wanted to be like 1,000-yard receiver again and stuff like that. And I don't ever remember him seemingly fighting for the ball as much and playing as well as he has been. So this might be the game. I would not put him in as my starting wide receiver, not 1 through 3, not even 4. If you're sporting a flex, you can. I would suggest maybe as a flex, but realistically, you should look for other options. I will take the L if he crushes it and gladly take that L. But to see him just put up like a 2 reception, 35-yard game, no touchdowns, Can't do that to my roster, especially at this point. You know, guys, we're in week 4. This is that pivotal point where if you're one of those like 0-3, 1-2 teams, this is where you can make that turn, you know, or vice versa, where a 3-0, 2-1 team can start to bottom out. And these decisions are important parts of that, you know. So I'm just not trusting him. With that said, the one guy who has not been really getting like the same kind of accolades and not putting up the same numbers is Chris Godwin. This does feel like a Chris Godwin kind of game. I feel like Chris Godwin's going to get tons and tons of balls thrown his way. This might be a 14 catch kind of day, 20 target day because of the way that they've been playing. I don't see them running the ball at all against New Orleans. I love Rachaad White, but he can't get anywhere. It's like watching the Bears run the ball right now. They just can't get anywhere. He looked good against us. Wow. But I mean, they're not getting anywhere. It just they're not. They have no push on that line really. It's just New Orleans has a much better defense than people have been giving them credit for, and I think that they're going to play their asses off out of pure fear that Jameson is going to throw the ball 40 fucking times to the other team. He is going to throw the ball. He is going to throw the ball a lot. And I do think that to that point, that Jameson, he's probably going to find Olave. I think that I think it's going to be the Olave breakout. Like this is where he gets his touchdown. This is where he puts up a big game, and I'm hoping because I know that Michael Thomas has a good rapport with Winston. They will probably be connecting to each other, but I'm hoping that's more like first downs and kind of conversions, and that it's just Olave breaking loose to that cannon that we still think that Jameson has. And I'm just only playing Godwin from the Bucks. I feel like that's my safest bet. Baker, you can always try, but these divisional games are so usually close that I don't see him putting up those throws as he's been the last few games. It seems more like he's going to play under micromanagement and try to make sure that he's not losing the game for them. Bengals and Titans. Did I even tell you guys who I picked for the Rams Colts game? I don't think I did. So the Rams Colts, I'm picking the Colts. I am. I think that one's going to be a good game. So I will say, so start A-Rich to Wyatt's point about he's going to be playing. I would also start Michael Pittman because he's going to be their conversion guy. Keep Alec Pierce off your bench, off your team. He is not going to be doing anything. This Josh Downs actually might be the guy today or well Sunday to play because he's been getting more reps and he's also been getting more receptions. And it feels like that chemistry is slowly starting to build with the QBs, not just Minshew, but also with Richardson. And those, the defensive front of the Rams is serious. The defense looks good overall, but that front four, and we know who is the anchor in the biggest, the baddest man since Reggie White and Aaron motherfucking Donald, is going to be putting pressure on him every single play. So Josh Downs is going to just be running like those short little intermittent routes, bubble screens across the middle of the field. It just feels like he might have that game where it's like it feels like the breakout is coming because of this game. And it's simply because there's so much pressure on Indianapolis that they're not going to be able to do anything. Now they have been running the ball well. The offensive line's been doing good, but I just think the Rams look really good. I'm picking the Colts because I went pretty home heavy in a lot of these games, and I just like the Colts right now. Even though they beat us in the Super Bowl, I don't know. There's something about them that feels good about this team. But I am starting my Rams players. I would start Puka, start Stafford, start Tutu. Kyron, you're probably going to start him too. I mean, he's probably going to. It feels like the Rams offense is going to do well, and the Colts are probably just going to grind it out and try to win that way. Dipping back to the Bengals and Titans, I'm giving it to the Titans. It feels like they are the worst team in football to watch. It's terrible to watch, but they are winning. They just keep winning. It's our ball. We're not sharing it. We don't want you to have the ball. They're just going to keep holding on to it, and they're going to take that ball home with them, and the game's over. Do I think the Bengals score? Yes. They have Jamar Chase. That dude's unbelievable. Joe Mixon keeps getting the ball. over and over and over again. They just keep giving it to him. He's got, I think, the third most carries in the NFL to date right now as of week 3. Why everyone was selling Mixon for bags of peanuts last season made no sense to me, because he did get, yes, was he as efficient? No. But was he getting all of the carries that you wanted in the red zone, especially? Yeah. Well, that's what you want out of your running back. Opportunity, especially near the end zone, right? That's why we take Austin Eckler all the time, because dude may not get a run for the entire game, and they put him in when he's 10 yards away from the end zone. And what does he do? He smells that shit like a bloodhound. Gets it. So start your Bengals players, except for Mixon in this one, though. I know I just hyped him up, but Tennessee's defense on that run game is real. They don't like people running against them. If Derrick Henry ain't running against the other team, they don't want you running against them. All right. But that's what dictate these games and helps them win, is because they're not losing a lot of clock when these teams are forced to pass the ball. They can't run against them, so that's what's burning the clock. And it's just, hey, force pass, get out, 3 and out, move on. I think if you have to start Derrick Henry in this game. I mean, you pretty much want to start him every game, but this is the game that hopefully he's going to turn it around. And it feels like the first few games were very difficult to him defensively, but this is the matchup that you've been waiting for pretty much. You run him full go. If in this game Derrick Henry does nothing, gets outsnapped again by Tajay Spears, I'm sounding every alarm like woo woo woo, like hey, I need to start selling Derrick Henry then, because it's been showing that Tajay Spears is really, really getting better. He's getting more of these snaps, and he's explosive, and obviously like 12 years younger. So that's important. But Derrick Henry's got this opportunity now. Let's give it to him. Let's believe in our guy. We paid at least this, probably a second, third in our startups last year, or this year rather, to get him. So you might as well at least try to get him out there for this week and hope that he just does what we want him to do, become King Henry instead of the Jester. I am picking the Titans. It's probably the wrong choice, but at home, they've been pretty good. Raiders, Chargers, man. So kind of dipping back. Jimmy Garoppolo, concussion. Why does it look like he's trending to playing? I don't understand. Dude should not be playing. You have 2 dudes in Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell was crushing it during the preseason. Are you telling me he's having that many bad practices that he can't throw the ball to 2 stud wide receivers and have his second round? Did my Mayer go in the second or third? I don't know, but having Mayer there is huge. You have a safety net. I just think that you would be better off starting one of those guys, but I'm no doctor and I don't do the concussion clearing of protocols. That said, Jimmy G looks like he's going to be starting, and you're going to put those guys out there. You're going to start Adams. You're going to start Myers. You have to put them both in there. I would also start Jacobs. This is the game. The Chargers' run defense is not very good. So if he's going to get back to form, this is that game. Like, give it to us, Josh Jacobs. We really need it, bud. We've been craving it, man. I know you did ring the ball over 300 times last year, but we really need you. So Josh Jacobs, I'm calling his game. But it's a Chargers win that I think is coming. I do feel like that they're going to still have just enough on their offensive side that they can win this game, even though they've just been blowing these games pretty much in the fourth quarter. And it just seems to be the Chargers thing. They just score a bunch of points and blow the lead. This has been for like the last 7 years, it feels like. But I would say I think Austin Eckler might be trending towards playing. Now, he was coming from an injury with his ankle, high ankle sprain. There was a quote from him saying that he's been running straight line, but hasn't been doing much side to side, making cuts. So that leads me to believe that if he does play, it's going to be very taped up. He might get shot up with his, some Novocaine, lidocaines, whatever they're giving him to try and numb him, and he might play through the pain. But if they're going to be a contender, they really need to wait at least one more week and try and make sure he gets fully healthy. And Josh Kelly is just still somebody you can't really trust. He's just not been doing well. He's not been performing well. So bench him, start Keenan, start Herbert, because they're going to be dropping dimes all over that Las Vegas defense, and it's going to look great. I mean, what else do you want? Everett, Gerald Everett, please, 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 can you do what we thought you were going to do? Please. Because I got you everywhere, bud. And best balls and everything between you and Juwan Johnson, you're killing me here. But I mean, Gerald Everett had 6 catches on 6 targets last week. They're starting to spread the ball. Obviously, that was at the cost of Mike Williams, which you know, our hearts go out to you, buddy. We hope you recover. Everyone who gets injured, we never want you guys to get injured. We hope you all recover. It affects their lives, So we want to wish you well, bud. Speedy recovery. And Gerald, just in the meantime, do your best impersonation of Mike Williams, please. Josh Palmer. I'm probably starting Josh Palmer in my flex. It feels more comfortable in my flex where I can maybe get a 5 for 75 without a touchdown kind of game because I'm just thinking Keenan Allen is relied on so heavily. This might be another 200-yard game from Keenan Allen, which I could see easily. Going Chargers, though, for the dub. We got just a few more games, and then I'll get you guys out of here. So we got Pats Cowboys. I'll kind of speed these ones up a little bit because Finnegan's getting itchy and he's got to pee. And my 4 don't want that. But I'm picking the Cowboys. It is at home in Dallas. New England is really good. Bill Belichick hasn't gotten worse at defense. He's still really good. And he's held some of these better offenses in Miami to lower points already. So I am thinking that the Patriots will keep it a competitive game. I think Micah Parsons will probably be the difference maker in this game. It feels like he is going to make some plays that just ultimately change the game. And I don't really I'm trying my hardest to keep running Ramondre Stevenson out there and thinking that something different is going to happen. You just have to. You have to put him out there. He is their bell cow. He's getting all the carries. I mean, you have to just put him out there and just hope that he's going to be the one to do it this time. It may just be one of those game scripts that he leans more into the PPR, that he's not going to be getting much in the rushing game. So it might just be one of those receiving games, kind of the ones that put him on the map for us last year that made him so relevant. This might be that time for him to start making those catches. And it's mostly because of the speed of that defense. I mean, they're just so fast. There was some games that they were suffering up the middle, but it doesn't seem like they are as much. Rod Marinelli's got them locked down. They're looking good. So I'm going Cowboys for the win. You have to start CD. I know he's not putting up CD numbers. You have to start Pollard because he's been doing well too. And if Dak is the guy that you have to run out there, go ahead. He's just not been the Dak that we want. He's pretty consistent with his passing for the most part, but I mean he's just not doing the rushing for us. He is still doing turnovers. It's just not like a top 5 fantasy QB that you want. Cards and 49ers. Look, I'll be honest. Last week, I said that the Cardinals were probably just going to be a bug on a windshield getting splattered as the car is driving on the highway. It was not the case. It was not the case. And kudos, man. Arizona. Like, you guys weren't supposed to be the ones fighting. You were supposed to lay down. The Bears have laid down. We were supposed to be the ones fighting. But Dobbs, Josh Dobbs, he looks good. And talk about, like, this has totally not been mentioned at all. But how impressive has Joshua Dobbs been? I mean, dude comes in at what? Like, the end of training camp, literally just the I think it was like the end of preseason already. It was near the last week of preseason, gets traded over to Arizona, gets maybe like a week of practice with that team and comes in and he is crushing it. He's doing well. He just helped them beat the Dallas Cowboys in an upset at home. I mean, what else do you want? Is he rushing the ball? Is he passing to who he needs to? I don't know what else you need. He's playing better than Dak with way less talent. So Joshua Dobbs, if he's anywhere that you can buy for cheap, get him. Get him. He might be the guy that carries you. They might just rush him out to each and every game and just keep Kyler Murray on the bench. And he might not even have to play this year. They might keep him healthy and just let him come back next year, and not have to worry about it because of the way that he's been playing. Didn't know he went to the University of Tennessee. Awesome. Go Volunteers, man. They look good in those colors. They really do. I wish I had some fresh threads that had that orange and white going. My God. would look awesome. Like the Browns jersey did. That was pretty fresh. But oh yeah, that's awesome. Well, congrats to her, man. Hey, good luck with the schooling. Wyatt's got a girl that goes there. Hey, we hope that she does well, man. Congrats on the studies and getting into that university. It's something that's an acolyte, man. So make sure that you remind her that she's doing a great thing there. That's awesome, bud. Um, yeah, and I do think that it feels like they're not going to just give up on this game also. Like if you needed motivation, right? What better motivation than the team that everyone's expecting to already leave the NFC? It was the Eagles, it was the Cowboys, it's the 49ers. Those are the three teams that everyone's like, okay, well, it's just going to come down to which two can get through the championship between them to reach the Super Bowl. And honestly, this is probably the best the NFC teams have been in a while. So if we have a chance of beating the AFC in a Super Bowl, it might be this year because the AFC teams have been struggling. Could be just hangovers because a lot of them made the playoffs and a lot of the NFC teams were just bad last year. But yeah, we don't know. We'll see as time goes on. I do know some of these AFC schedules lighten up, so we'll see. Maybe they'll just catch fire and then just blow us out anyways. But I'm thinking the 49ers win. But the Cardinals are definitely going to have all the motivation they need. They just took down the Dallas Cowboys. So don't you think they're going to think in their minds that they can do it again? They just have to. It's seemingly you just have to shut down the CMC. But as we've watched over the last few years, it's not the case. Pretty much week to week, San Francisco's got somebody else doing what we want CMC to do every week, which he's been doing this year. But yeah, between Ayuk, Kittle, Debo, it's kind of hard to pick your guy. If Ayuk is out again this week, he's trending to play. But if he is out again this week, then definitely start Debo again. You can stream Kittle. The tight end position is really crap, so you're gonna still want to put him out there. He's probably still leaning towards like a 4 catch, maybe if you're lucky a touchdown. But it's probably just CMC day. Brock Purdy is a steady QB2. If you need him in there, he's still going to be okay. I mean, the Cards defense has been putting up some battles, but they still don't have Chandler Jones. I don't think they're going to get him back. For those of you who don't know, he was arrested. There's a lot of scary things that he's been saying. Never judge anybody. We don't know what's going on in other people's heads, let alone in their bodies. So I wish him well. We've been talking about mental health, and obviously, whether his mental health is intact or not, he does need some support. So he was arrested. He's currently, I believe, still at just the normal holding cell. But yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary. So I wish him well. They could use that kind of talent, but you want the guy to be okay first. So I'm going 49ers. I do think that they're just going to pull it off. They just seem to have too much on offense and defense. Even though the Cardinals are going to give him a fight, and James Conner is still going to do well somehow because he just seems to always do well. He comes through. This is a matchup that he should be getting crushed in, and I bet you he still puts up 20. It's just he's a beast. He's a beast. And every year we just go, yeah, he can't do it again, and he does, and he does. Last game, Seahawks and Giants. I think that the Seahawks are going to put up a lot of points. I think it's going to be like a Geno day, but I'm giving the win to the Giants. It feels like they just have to pull it together and rally today or for Sunday. Why do I keep thinking there's football today? And I'm sorry for everybody, but like I keep confusing between today and tomorrow. Like I don't sleep much either, so we'll just blame it on the lack of sleep and lack of brain cells, and that's probably the best reason that I can use. But I'm seeing something that it just feels like that. I believe last year was around the same time that the Giants kind of made their turnaround, like that week 4, week 5, and just went on a little bit of a stretch. Obviously they had wins and losses in between there, but their team started to get better. And I'm kind of sensing that with the offense as how Daniel Jones has been spreading the ball more. Also, you're getting Jalen Hyatt more involved, which is what you need. Because as we're seeing with a lot of these teams, that deep threat is what's going to separate you from a lot of these defenses because speed is hard to defend. It just really is. And Tyreek's proven that his whole career. So I feel like they're going to win. It's at home. It's just a long, long commute for Seattle. And I don't know how teams can ever even pull off those wins when they have to fly across the entire country. It's rough. So I'm going to give it to the Giants. It'll be in their Meadowland win, and hopefully they can play. As I was mentioning earlier, like how we've had these major floods in New York, and that's going on right now. I haven't heard as of yet that there is anything going on, but can you imagine if like the stadium now is not even usable because of all the amount of water they've taken in? Imagine now moving the game to somewhere else, but they can't stay right there on the East Coast because they're getting hit by the storm so bad and with all these floods. They're probably going to have to shift somewhere else, maybe towards the Midwest a little bit, coming over towards us. Maybe even using a college stadium towards Ohio or something along those lines after one of these games today. So we'll see. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and listen, because if they have to move again, Lord knows I'm definitely not taking Seattle, because they're going to be commuting a second time within just a few days. So just be aware. Just make sure if you hear anything about change of stadium and stuff like that, I would still just go New York on that one, because it just feels too difficult to travel that far. We did all the rundown of the games. Wyatt has been our lone live listener today, and I appreciate you, fam. I do appreciate all your interaction, and all for the rest of you that are going to be catching on this video later. Thank you, man. Thank you. I hope that you just had a good time listening to me, just meeting me if you haven't already. I do wish everybody the best in all things in life, because we all deserve it. If you don't look out for each other, nobody's going to look out for you. So you got to make sure that you look out for everyone around you, and then always take care of yourself. All right. Thanks for meeting Finnegan and Oscar. You'll see them again. We'll make another appearance. And just wanted to make sure that you guys all have a great rest of your day and a beautiful weekend. Share the love with your friends, your family, and just enjoy every bit of it. Thanks again, man. Much love to you all. And have a great rest of your day.